warm welcome. It's been a long time since I've done a cargo flight, so welcome aboard this DHL flight. We're currently at East Midlands Airport and we're going to Frankfurt. The flight number is Delta Hotel Kilo 278. So we've finished our loads of the aircraft. Now we're going to close the doors and carry on with our post-flight checks before we head out to Frankfurt. We'll be leaving today via the Daventry 3 November departure off runway 27. We have 24,000 kilograms of fuel on board. We have 94.7 tons of cargo on board, and we're going to be cruising at a flight level of 35,000 feet. Alternate destination is Dusseldorf. So we're going to Daventry 3 November, and then that'll be to Daventry VOR. Then we're taking an airways to Bensu, direct to Biggin, to Conan, to SPI, which is a VOR, and then we're expecting the Inoko or Inoko 2 hotel standard transition arrival route into Frankfurt for runway 07 right. So let's carry on then with our pre-flight checks before we get going. So we're all loaded up, so now we can have a look. We've got our V speeds in, so we put them in. +5 on the 162 gives us 167. Heading runway heading to 7, and the start initial clearance is 9,000 feet. Got our VNAV. Transaltitude is 6,000, which is correct, so that's all good. So we can go back to our performance page, close that down. Next page has been done by the first officer. We've done all our pre-flight checks, APU fire test, engine fire tests, ground proximity tests and oxygen tests. So now it's time to start closing some doors. So for that we're going to close the cargo door. Now we're going to close the two aft doors. And before we close the entry door, I'm going to start up the APU. So come up here, everything's ready, ADIRS is off, auto thrust tree is to auto, primary flight computers are on, guards closed, cabin utility is on, batteries on, APU gen is on, APU is now starting, forward fuel pump is off the APU. We're on external power at the moment until the APU kicks in, and then we can transfer over to the APU, disconnect ground services. So we've got our seatbelt signs to on, and runway turn off light, taxi lights and strobe light is off, and landing lights are off. Nav light is on. We're starting the APU, so we can put the beacon on. We don't need the logo on, it's not dark. Start switch are in the normal continuous, packs are in auto, and the engine bleeds are in the auto position. Okay, so we're just waiting now for the APU to kick in. We'll look at the electrical page. The APU generator, if I bring this up, APU generator there, when that comes on we'll knock off ground power, so that's what we're waiting for there. The APU gen is now available, it says APU is running, so we'll go ahead and we can disconnect the ground power. So the APU is now powering the aircraft, and then we can get rid of some ground connections. So for that we'll set the parking brake. Parking brake is now set. Okay, we'll go to ground connections. I will remove what we don't need. Get ready for pushback. Today we want to push back left and 90 degrees, and we don't want very far at all. So we have to put that down there a minute. TCAS is on standby, and that'll be done. That'll stay on standby until we do our flight checks. Okay. Parameter is set 1011 hectopascals, and we can go ahead before start checks and push back. So before start checks, all doors closed, all ground crew will leave the aircraft please, thank you. Ground crew will leave the aircraft, and we're going to close the main doors. Go back to pushback page and get rid of that. Watch for the door to close there. Door is closed. Oop. So what we need to do, we need to arm the doors on this aircraft. I'll be flying the Airbus for a long time, so there we go. So it's now armed. A few things we need to make sure that overhead, everything's normal on my side. Window heats are all on and in the auto position. Bring in the right hydraulic. These are the demand pumps, the electrical. When the fault light goes off, bring in the left electrical auto demand pump. When that light goes off, we'll bring in C1 air demand pump, C2 air demand pump, and we'll put on the electrical demand pumps also. Fuel pumps all will go on, so all fuel pumps are on. So now we are ready for pushback. Let's go ahead then and request pushback.
And ground, cockpit.
Clear left.
Alright, Captain.
Clear right.
We're all set to go up here. We've been cleared to push and start at your discretion.
Right, engine page up.
Roger that, ready for push. Power and air clear, doors closed. We are ready for pushback. Release parking brake, please.
I'll go ahead and release our parking brake.
Okay, parking brake is off. Cleared to push.
Brakes off, here we go.
Okay, so that will start our clock time off. Just wait to clear the utilities and then we will start the engines. Okay, we can go ahead. Now the 777 you can start both, but I'd like to better start 2 first. You want to wait for the Ed 2 to get up to about 15% before you put in the fuel. Fuel control, leave it in. Engine 1 starting up quite nicely. One thing I forgot to say is auto brakes onto RTO, that's for rejected takeoff. Which gives us that little bit of stopping power where we throw the thrusts into idle and apply brakes and reverse thrust if required. The takeoff weight today, we after V1 we're too heavy to land, so we're going to have to the parking brake
Push is
set.
complete. Set parking brake, please.
Alright,
So
brakes are
engine
set and
2 is
pressure's
stable.
normal.
Go ahead and start number 1.
Okay, sir. Tow bar is off. Pin is out. Watch the pin on the right.
Okay, I'm waiting for that end to build up around 15
Alright
to
guys,
20%.
thanks. You're cleared to disconnect. We will be watching for the pin and the release from guidance on the right side of the airplane.
Yeah,
And
fuel's in.
we'll see you guys next time through.
Roger that. Have a good flight.
Okay, engine started. We'll put TCAS on now. First off, so we'll have traffic. It's 300 feet here. Okay, engine 1 is stable. Engine 1 is stable. We'll go ahead now and put flight controls on. So our trim for today is 4 degrees and our trim is set at 4 degrees. So we'll go ahead now and we can get rid of the APU because our generators are on. So turn off the APU. I'm going to put our runway and taxi turn off lights on and our strobe light could go on now. You see the packs are still building up. Whilst doing that, we're going to do a flight control check, so we're going to check our ailerons. Full left, full right, neutral, full up, and full down. And neutral flight control check is correct. Before we go there, door page is closed. Cancel that off. Cancel any recall items. No items on recall. So we're going to set our flaps to flaps 5. Flaps 5 set. Now don't make the mistake if you're flying Airbus for setting the speed brakes, you don't want to do that. So flight directors can now go on. And auto throttle is on. So we're now ready for taxi. So we're going to taxi to the active runway. Just get my screen right. That'll do. We're going to select Elder VDOF for departure, so we keep within the accelerated altitude. Sorry. So let's go to performance. Sorry. Is it on takeoff? VDOF. So acceleration altitude, I can't remember where it is. It should be around 1,800. So 1,000 above the runway itself. So here we go, we're going to taxi down Bravo, and we're going to join Alpha, and all the way down to holding point of runway 27. So let's a little bit of thrust on. Release the brakes. We'll start to roll. Started to roll now. Ease back the pressure. So make our way to the taxi. The reason why I keep it at low speed, coming out of the stands, they're not called gates, so please don't call them gates. I know they are when you go to an airport, but they're actually stands for pilots. So keep the speed low until we come out, because we've got a left and a medium right turn. We don't want to be doing that too fast. Picking up a little bit of speed, which is what we need. So we're coming over to Bravo, this is all Bravo, coming down here to the cargo stands. This is the west apron, the DHL apron, as you can see. You still see in the background there, DHL hub. So, then the main terminal is going to be in front of us. This terminal we're talking about coming up here. Now, with a bigger aircraft, you have to make sure you swing, but we're going to swing a little bit early. Then we're going to keep this taxi line actually on our left pillar, and as we swing round, then the taxi line should go to the centre pillar. So this is what I mean by left pillar and centre pillar, and then we should be okay on the centre line coming out of the turn. So if I just turn the tiller, just try to keep it nice and steady, you don't want to give the, like so, but if you look, it looks like you're going off course, but you won't be. So now we can turn the right tiller, keep that in the centre line and keep coming round. That way the aircraft will be nice and centred as you start to level up. Now East Midlands Airport, where we're flying from, is one of the main hubs for DHL in the UK, and it has the World Express call sign. If it was from the German hubs or the Leipzig hub, you'd have the call sign Eurotrans for the German side. Put a little bit more speed on now to get up to taxi speed. Over in the distance here you've got the new builds that have just been put up. I mean, this is Amazon, this one's XPO Nestle, and then you've got very warehouses that have not long been put up. And this is my home airport. This is where I fly out of a lot. So I'm going to bring up now my SID for this airport. So Daventry 3 November. I'm going to be on a course of 225 degrees initially after takeoff. And that's for about six miles away from the airport. And then we're going to take a left turn of 160 degrees to our first waypoint. So on the heading, I'm going to actually select not the runway heading, but the SID heading. Because it's an immediate turn, I want that to be set, ready to go. So ground speed's picking up now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce thrust. We don't really want to break the 20 knots. If you wonder where I can see the ground speed, it's here in the what's called the ND, the navigational display. PFD, primary flight display, has your speeds, your attitude and your altitude and your barrel references, which will become more apparent during the descents. Got flaps 5 takeoff, so it's going to be a nice takeoff. And I'm planning on manually flying the SID, so transition altitude for East Midlands is 7,000 feet, although I've got 6,000 in the FMC, that's just to remind me. So okay, so the departure briefing, and we're going on the Daventry 3 November as explained. Our V reference V1 is 151. If anything happens before that speed of major catastrophic failure, we will stop and abort the takeoff. After V1, for any other emergencies, we'll climb a runway heading and climb to an altitude of 3,000 feet. We'll assess what's going on. If it's an engine out, we'll climb to 3,000 feet and hold pattern until we're burnt off sufficient fuel for our landing back on the runway 27. So we'll go and hold into Picket 1 Juliet, arrival chart, and hold at Picket, ready for a 27 approach. For takeoff then, we're taking off, and it's an immediate left bank 225 degrees for 6.5 miles, and then we're taking a left turn of 160 degrees to Delta 310 Daventry, and then up to Delta 23.0, which is flight level 9,000 feet, which is the SID, the standard entry departure constraint. And then after there we are flying to Daventry, and then from Daventry direct onto our route. We'll fly now over VNAV path. And standard departure, we'll observe. Let's come up to the runway now. No traffic, so let's go ahead and put the runway lights on. And we'll turn the taxi light off. Cabin informed, we have 2 passengers on board today. Okay. Okay, we're clear for departure. Everything is set. Gas is on. spool up 60% and then toga set at 95.4%.
Approaching 27.
So give the aircraft on runway. Hopefully we've got that correct.
On runway 27.
Straight on up. Okay. Now ready for takeoff. My spool's up to 60%. And toga set. Knots. What happened there?
V1, rotate. V2.
Positive rate, gear up. Flaps 1. Just trying to trim up. Trim up, flaps up. Nice gentle inputs into the stick. Try to get a trim. Okay. On the flight. Right. It's okay. Standard pressure. Cross check 7,000 now. Range up. constraint there. We hit Daventry there, we can continue our climb. We're going to go ahead and engage the autopilot. Autopilot will now start the aircraft. We're going to clean up the aircraft, so RTO brakes are off, speed brakes are reserved, brakes are off, flaps are up. Menu selected for this page. Run up climb phase, 35,000 is set for continuation and now 160. Heading is set. Lights are still on, try and climb, and seatbelts are still on. So we're at our SID, and bit of cloud, but not a lot. Just some upper layers there, around 9,000, a bit hazy, that's all. I'm going to start our climb again now. Looks like cruising altitude of 35,000 feet. I'm just getting Frankfurt charts ready to my left hand side, and then I'm going to see if Navigraph is going to work today, because it never worked yesterday on my Simlink since updating it. So here we go, I'm going to see if it will, it's got the route. Okay, so landing lights can go off. And runway turn off lights can also go off. So yeah, for some reason since updating my Simlink I can't connect to the simulator. Should be okay. I'll show you having an update on my charts on the left hand side, so sorting that out, that's probably what it is. Now we're climbing up to our cruising altitude. I'm just going to throttle match a minute. A bit of a side wind coming in from the west, 6 knots. Nothing too major. That's the route, quite cluttered at this stage. No trains to worry about at this stage. Turn off. It's quite a rapid climb, 3,000 feet a minute. Tell you what we're going to do. Going to sign out. Sign back in. Hopefully, let's see if we can. Okay, that's a bit annoying, so what I might do is close that one down and going to check the weather at Frankfurt, so just going overhead. Check the weather at Frankfurt, QNH 1010. And then I'm going to open up Navigraphs on my other monitor. Just bear with me a minute, sorry about this. I'll open that up, go across to the other monitor. Sign in. Now I go to favourites. Let's go to Frankfurt. There we are. Just close that now. One map now. One high on routes. Like so. Then I want to bring in my flights. I want to try and get my flight to load in. Saying it won't connect to the simulator, so yeah. Okay, so it's not just that chart, so we can go ahead. I do apologise for that. I was just checking why, since the update, as my Simlink has decided, you know, I'm not going to work it on my Navigraph, so I'm going to close that one down anyway. I'll go to the Navigraph website and find out why that is. So for the meantime we'll just use it for my approaches. So now I'm going to be transitioning on the Anuko to hotel. Nothing changes. There's the Anuko to hotel. There's the local hotel straight across to Frankfurt actually. FFM. Trying to climb up to 35,000 feet. She's it's okay. It's a lovely day in the UK. The skies are clear, temperatures are good. Should be. Beautiful aircraft, the 777. So, with that in mind, I'll get back to you now during the descent to Frankfurt. We start to make up to that. Lovely views of the English countryside. Just track the turn. Always want to get ahead of the aircraft where you can. So tracking the turn, 117 and thereabouts. going to... I think they're on Stansted down there. Oh no, that's Heathrow down there. That's the shape of the buildings past Heathrow. There's the Stendersesses, if you like. The Docklands from around all this area here. That's now towards the edge of the coast, so if I could get a military picture now. There you can see the edge of the UK. There's the southeast, so we're currently just passing Heathrow. So you've got the London Bridge over there. We'll transfer in. We're going to go over Brussels, Amsterdam, Brussels, and then into Germany from Bremen and to Frankfurt. So that is our route, and yeah, like I said, we'll get back to you during the descent. So enjoy the flight.